Hi Scorpio, I'm Ronique and welcome to Scorpio Soul Time. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to your April 2024 monthly tarot reading. This is where we're going to take a look at the astrological energies for the month of April. April is by far probably one of the most dynamic and energy shifting months of 2024. And I don't say that lightly. I will tell you that all the astrologers are saying that April is the huge month before we get to the fall. And the reason is because we are dead into eclipse season. We did end March with that Libra eclipse. We will have a total eclipse in the sign of Aries this month. We start off April with Mercury retrograding in the sign of Aries. All of this Aries energy is really huge, as well as we will have that great conjunction of the signs or the planets, Uranus and Jupiter. And if I flub up my words, trust me, Mercury retrograde is upon us, so bear with me. So April is a big month, Scorpio. I will say you and Aries are going to have, I believe, a huge shift of momentum because all of that Martian energy, you all are both ruled. You're co-ruled by Mars. Aries is ruled by Mars. There is this huge shift of like moving forward, going with gusto. Just make sure you're watching your words. Make sure you're not coming in all gangbusters before you actually know all of the information. That's always a little danger with Mars. So just pay attention to that, okay, Scorpio? I do have all the dates below, so take a look. I have gone day by day, so we will actually go week by week now, okay? So let's get into it. You start the first week of April with the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, as well as the Three of Cups. Second week of April, you have the Chariot, Cancer energy there, major arcana, as well as the Three of Wands in reverse. Third week of April finds you with the King of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. The last week of April, you have the Magician in the reverse, major arcana, and lastly, the King of Cups in the reverse. Okay, Scorpio, so far looking really positive, looking like you have some celebrations possibly coming up with conversations with people. Let's go ahead and look at the energies that you left March with. Remember, March did find us with that eclipse that we did have on March 25th in the sign of Libra. So conversations around groups of people, where it is that you're feeling like you're doing well or not well with people could have come up at that full moon. So let's take a look. Oop, look at that. The Tower and the Nine of Cups try to sneak out. Let's take a look at where Spirit wants to send you a card symbolizing your month of March. And you have the Eight of Swords. So Scorpio, for some of you all, this could have been a month of when you had a lot of conversations in your head about what the next steps were. Possibly you didn't know which way to turn. Maybe you were confused about the direction of where you wanted to take your ambitions. I do think that the challenge with all planets direct from the end of January till the end of March was that many of us were getting kind of like analysis paralysis with so many ideas and not knowing how to refine them and only focus on a few. And I do think you all were kind of overcoming that in the month of March. I do think as you come into April, you will be a lot more laser focused. And I don't think you're going to be so confused as to what the next steps are. So I think that's a good sign that you are coming out of, okay? Now let's go ahead and pull an oracle card. Spirit, if you could send Scorpio an oracle card, what messages do you want to send Scorpio for the month of April? You have Stargazer, set your sights higher. Beautiful card, and you can see all those stars in the back. And I do think that this is an interesting card because it's basically telling you you're thinking and dreaming too small. Okay, Scorpio, I do think that for many of you all, you've been trying to play it safe, wasn't quite sure, like I said, with that Eight of Swords, which direction to take. And I do think here in April, especially with all that Mars energy, which is the planet of action, wanting to get stuff done, wanting to be courageous. Spirit is reminding you, Scorpio, that you have all of this powerful Martian energy with all of this Aries energy, and you really need to take it and run with it. Okay, this energy of where is it that you're setting your sights on? If you have been thinking too small, it's time to go even bigger. And even if you don't accomplish all of them, Spirit is reminding you, still set your sights on something big. Okay, so set your sights higher, I think, is one of the best cards you could receive right now, Scorpio, because I do think, me as a fellow Scorpio, we tend to want to play it safe so we don't get hurt, so we make sure that we can keep control. And I do think that Spirit is reminding you that if you can set your sights even bigger than what you had planned before, even if you don't make or achieve all the way to the highest high, you will at least achieve more than what you had attempted in the past. Okay, so keep that in mind during April. Really nice. I'm really liking that Stargazer card. So let's take it this entire month. So when I'm looking at the first week here, some type of celebrations could be had during that first week of April, possibly money conversations coming up here in the beginning of the month. By the time you get to the second week, this is when we will have that total solar eclipse. Many of you all are really getting a handle on where it is you want to go. You are setting your sights higher, which I am glad to see with that Chariot card, and you are strategizing in that second week. So really beautiful energy. By the time you get to that third week of the month, this is when Uranus, Jupiter both conjunct in the sign of Taurus. Some type of money decision could be at hand, and it could be something really big, Scorpio, with that King of Wands. So pay attention to what comes up to you that second and third week of the month. And by the time you close out the month, this is when we will have your full moon in Scorpio on the 12th, on the 23rd. So April 23rd, somewhere in here, you all, and that might be also what that money decision is around your Scorpio full moon. Be prepared for some big news about your money, and also someone important comes into the picture at the very end of the month to help you make a huge decision. So really looking like a really powerful month, Scorpio. Let's take it week by week. Okay, so we start off that first week of April with Mercury stationing retrograde in Aries at 27 degrees. And also the sun is conjunct the North Node in Aries on the 4th, as well as Venus enters Aries. During this week, Scorpio, really pay attention to your colleagues, your friends, your family, whoever you hang out with, whoever you spend a lot of time with. That Four of Pentacles feels like someone could be asking for help with their finances, or want some suggestions or some advice on job related stuff or work related stuff. I will tell you, during the month of April, really be careful of lending advice. Be careful of your words between Mercury retrograde and all that Mars energy. You just don't want to step on anyone's toes. You don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers, if you know what I mean. So just be careful that first week of April. Just pay attention to what you're saying. It's fine to lend advice. Just make sure you don't go too far with lending the advice, okay? All right, so by the time we move to the second week of April, we have this Chariot card and the Three of Wands in reverse. Now that second week of April is when we have that total solar eclipse, new moon in Aries on the 8th, and also that same day, Sun is conjunct Chiron. 2 days later, Mars is conjunct Saturn. Whew, that is a lot of energy, you all, in those 2 weeks. You are ready to go, okay? I am excited because I do feel like that stargazer card that we got that said set your sights higher, I feel like that's what this energy is. This is you really trying to not second guess yourself, take those reins of the chariot and drive yourself into the way you want to go. So really keep that in mind as you move throughout the second week of the month. Now, by the time we get to that third week of the month, Scorpio, this is when things are really getting big for you, okay? And I say that because once we get to the third week of the month, we have a sun entering Taurus on the 19th. Uranus is conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Taurus on the 20th, and then we have your full moon in Scorpio on the 23rd. Somewhere in that time period, you could have some really important decisions to make. Someone could approach you about a new job, possibly coming to join their team. There could also be some conversations around money that comes in, around where is it that you're spending your money. Maybe someone can help you invest some of your wealth, some huge conversation, and there could be some type of offer that comes to you that third week of April. So really nice to see that. So this is really a whole 180-degree turn from where you were back in March. So that's really refreshing to see. Once you end out the month or close out the month, Scorpio, you have the Magician card and the King of Cups, both in the reverse. This is when we do have Mercury retrograde ending in Aries. So if any of you all were putting some things on hold, you can now start moving forward with them at the end of the month. Venus enters Taurus on the 29th. And the big one I feel like for you in Aries is going to be April 30th. Mars enters Aries. You all, there was already so much Aries energy throughout the month already, but once the 30th comes and Mars enters into the mix of planets in Aries, you all have so much going for you, okay? Even though these are both in reverse, I think Spirit is telling you, take your time. You do not have to rush into any kind of decisions, but know that some type of big, powerful moves could be coming. Someone could approach you that is like, hey, we really want you on our team, because you now have two kings. You have that King of Cups, and that third week you have the King of Wands. So both are huge energy of like power, okay? So be prepared for that. So overall, Scorpio, it looks like April is really shaping up to be a really powerful month for you. I do think that you have probably one of the more positive readings. Everyone's having like bits and pieces of good and not so great, but you all seem like you have nothing but positivity, which is really refreshing. And I think a lot of that stems off of this Stargazer card saying set your sights higher. And I do think that if you can follow that plan throughout this spring, Scorpio, I think by time you get to your full moon and by time you get into May, I think you all are going to see yourself expanding a lot more than you could have ever imagined. So really good to see. All right, Scorpio, I hope this was helpful for you. Do take a look at your sun, moon, and rising signs in this video series. If you haven't already subscribed to Scorpio Soul Time, I would love if you would. All right, you all, I'll talk to you later. Have a great April.